Interesting.
Hi parents, my name is Max. I'm a 33-year-old man and I play video games with your children online. You know, as a parent, it can be really hard to understand what your child is going through. You may be asking yourself, how'd my little buddy turn into a bloodthirsty sociopath? Well, with my help, you can become one too.
I don't f***ing care.
Yes.
Bro, you're nobody. How?
Like a complete idiot. When I first came out as an abusive piece of woman batterer.
Hey.
35-year-old brain and a 15-year-old brain.
I will slather diarrhea all over my face.
These are kids, and the other, that they're hot.
So you reveal quite a lot about yourselves. I have dossiers on all of you.
Is that you don't f***ing care about my feelings?
Solicitation of a minor.
I would hit my wife and then not apologize.
I usually tell this story like it's a joke, and people usually laugh. But it's not actually that funny.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? You alright? Today we'll be diving deep into one of the internet's most controversial, self-proclaimed intellectuals. A man who has turned oversharing into a lifestyle brand and red flag into a personality. He seems to be really interested in talking about topics that most find to be disgusting, and his actions in the real world are not much better than the disturbing things that he talks about. We have a lot to cover in this one, so let's get started at the beginning. Max Karson was born in the small city of Amherst, Massachusetts, to a part Jewish family but was raised as an atheist. His father was a psychologist turned university professor who has written books on the impact of child mistreatment, and once appeared in court as an expert witness for a child welfare case. His mother left his father for another woman, as Max says that she started to hate men. Born into Freudian family values, at the age of 7, Max read books on how to satisfy women in the bedroom so that he wouldn't become one of those stupid, sexist boys that just wants pleasure for himself. These are his words. At the age of 8, his brother read him Stephen King horror books, which Max says had a positive effect on his still forming brain. So he started to copy these books and write his own. The graphic nature of his writing sparked the school to contact his parents, but this didn't stop Max, and he wrote one short story a month, then handed them out to the people at his school in his lunchroom, with him getting enjoyment from watching the shocked reactions of the female students as he ate his lunch. As a child, he had a crush on Michael Jackson and fantasized about the pop star, something that I'm sure would have been reciprocated if only Michael would have known. Max had been living with his father but moved in with his mother after his dad told him that he wanted to strangle him. Shockingly, moving in with his man-hating mother and her wife didn't go too well, and the pair started to bully Max, accusing him of being sexist, which in turn made him act overly aggressive towards the pair. Max also claims that his mother was attracted to him, talking to him and touching him in ways that made him feel uncomfortable, so he ended up keeping his distance from her and felt like washing himself every time she so much as looked at him. In middle school, he spent his time teaching his friends how best to pleasure themselves. Max states that his family and the area that he lived in as a whole was very progressive, so at high school they did plays based on the vagina monologues that explored gender identity, societal taboos surrounding female bodies and womanhood. At the age of 14, his mother told him that when people have intercourse, women get hurt. So Max developed a complex about pleasuring himself while thinking about women. Feeling overwhelming guilt, he felt the need to tell them about what he had done in order to prove that he was not trying to hurt them. And if he pleasured himself to adult videos, he kissed the screen to let them know that he felt affection towards them. It's safe to say that Max and his mother didn't have the best relationship, with him claiming that she wished that he had been born a girl, due to her disliking men so much, and after a heated confrontation, she asked him to leave, so he moved back in with his father. Him and his mum went to see therapists, but this didn't help, and the pair started a friendly but distant relationship. Back in high school, him and his friends hosted freestyle rap battle contests to imitate the movie 8 Mile, kicking off a lifelong interest in rap music. Even at this early stage, Max felt that he had important ideas that he needed to share with the world. So he started a school newsletter called The Crux. But unfortunately, the school didn't agree that his ideas were important and threw away any copies of the newsletter that they could find. This led to Max handing the newsletter out to students at lunchtime again so that he could safely get this important information into their hands. The Crux dealt with topics such as normalising adult movies and criticising the motives of liberals who cared about racism, with him saying that they are faking empathy for attention. Given his environment, these statements obviously didn't go down too well, but his problems really started when he wrote an article about the principal, Mr. Myers. You see, Mr. Myers really liked young boys, and it's alleged that he more than 20 boys over the course of 50 years. Max says that when this was found out, most of the students and the staff at the school supported Mr. Myers in keeping his job. Nothing builds school spirit like rallying behind the resident predator, I guess. The reasons that Mr. Myers didn't go to prison being that some of the cases fell outside the statute of limitations, jurisdictional issues, and the unwillingness of some of the victims to press charges. On a side note, in 2023, Mr. Myers did get convicted for insurance fraud and theft, getting 2 years on probation. Max, seeing this as an injustice and having a newsletter, wrote a satirical article pretending to have been in a relationship with Mr. Myers, but never would have gone out with him if he had known that Mr. Myers liked young boys so much. He then went on to lambast the people that supported Mr. Myers, then moved on to the topic of black people having an advantage over other non-white students, due to them having the mascot of Martin Luther King while the rest had none. This article didn't go down too well, and his superintendent said that it was an act of harassment against Mr. Myers and that it was racist, so Max was sent to see a senior level administrator who was a very light-skinned black woman. This lady then told Max that he didn't know anything about racism due to him being white. I'm not sure that's the racial category I'd put him in, to be honest. Max then started to get death threats from some of the South American students, so refused to use the public toilets, fearing that this might be the venue of his demise. This is an affliction that haunts Max to this day, with him still being unable to use public toilets. When it comes to urinating, Max may be a weakling, but in the area of ideas, he sees himself as a Goliath. So didn't let any of these setbacks stand in the way of his newsletter, and he got into hot water again when in another issue he gave a detailed description of an adult film and stated that he wanted one of his male friends to treat him how Mr. Myers treated his students. Max then got a fourth suspension from classes due to his newsletter when he used a common 4-letter expletive aimed at his mother in another issue. This was the final straw, so the school called his father to come in and sort Max's behaviour out. But instead of berating Max, his father held a protest at the school, calling the teachers mean names, and had to be escorted out of the school by the police. Max continued writing his newsletter until he graduated, but when he went to university, his tendency to write and say outrageous things would end up with him in handcuffs and his name plastered all over the national news. Max was now attending university to set out to get a spot at the school publication, which he was successful with, but sadly he was quickly fired when he penned a column that claimed that members of a female sports team wore bikinis when they played just so he could ogle them. The hang-ups from his childhood still haunted him, so instead of having intercourse with his partners, he insisted on pleasuring himself while they watched. After bearing solemn witness to him frantically choking the chicken, I'm guessing he kissed them upon completion to let them know that he had affection towards them. Being confused and frustrated with his inability to have proper relations with females, he emailed his mother to try and get answers as to why she kicked him out all those years ago, to which she replied, letting him know that she kicked him out as she was attracted to him and didn't want to act on her passions. This was obviously shocking news, so he told the rest of his family, including his father, who didn't believe him, so he cut ties with his entire family. All alone in the world, Max moved to another university and tried once again to get a role at the school newspaper, but this time he was rejected. So he set up his own one, calling it The Yeti. In this outlet, Max crafted pieces about how he was afraid of black people and other such controversial topics. In the third issue of this publication, he authored a satirical article about ladies being unable to orgasm, which again got him into trouble, so he had to talk with one of the university administrators, and even got a piece published about him in the local newspaper who claimed that his column was dehumanizing and misogynistic. Max was now on the naughty list at his new university for pushing the boundaries, but at heart he was a true progressive, and just used his edgy humor to get his message to a broader audience.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with the author of the Yeti newsletters, Max Karson. Max, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
First, let's just get down to what are your motives for writing this newsletter?
To make the world a better place. I think there's a lot of social issues out there, important things that people aren't talking about, like racism and sexism and homophobia and things like that, that I feel like would be better addressed in a humorous manner than by preachy, finger shakers.
Well, don't you feel sometimes that people will take that satirical manner in a negative light instead of doing something positive for the cause?
Yeah, it's a concern of mine. I don't know. I don't think that reading my newsletter is going to convert someone who wasn't a racist to being a racist, or is going to make someone who has no prejudice whatsoever to suddenly being like, wow, I do hate women. I think that sort of bigotry is ingrained in early childhood. I don't think people just pick that up from reading some newsletter.
Life in university for Max had followed the same path as at high school, but this all changed when the Virginia Tech shooting happened. This was one of the worst in American history, killing 32 people and injuring 17 others. The day after the shooting, Max attended a Black Women's Studies class, and while at this class, people started to talk about what had happened at Virginia Tech University when one of the students said, "I can't imagine shooting 32 people." So Max replied, "Anyone who says they've never thought about shooting 32 people is lying." He later qualified this statement by saying that people are subjected to all kinds of violent media in the modern world, so these thoughts would inevitably enter people's minds. But he didn't intend on manifesting this into any real-world action. After the class, he was called into a senior-level administrator's office and forced to explain himself. Then, as he walked out of the office, he was met by 2 police officers and arrested. Max claims that the staff at the university acted as if he was making a real threat, not because they actually thought that he was, but because they didn't like him due to his work on the Yeti. Max was then interviewed by the police.
This is an interview with Max Karson. It's April 17th at 16:06 hours. Also present is Detective Jason Wade, and I am Detective Brian Jordan.
So just to start off with, why do you think you're here?
I think I'm here because some of my classmates and my professor became uncomfortable during a conversation we had in class today.
Based upon a person's actions, feels intimidated, threatened, coerced, that causes pretty much a negative effect on their studies, then that's the crime right there. So what these students are claiming, for all intents and purposes, is that your actions, by you making those statements that I'm not going to kill you all, or I've been angry in the past.
Yeah.
I've been angry, or I've thought about killing someone.
Right.
I'm not going to kill you on Thursday.
Right.
Led them to the conclusion that you're the next Virginia Tech gun-toting whatever he was. That's their belief.
His arrest was seemingly big news and was reported by many outlets, with them painting him as some kind of potential unhinged shooter. He claims that he was even on CNN, but I've been unable to find proof of this. Max later found out that it wasn't his fellow students or even the professor that had called the police, but the head of the Women's Studies department, who upon hearing of his arrest cheered and said the words, "We got his ass." Max was given bail and a guard was posted to the classroom just in case he decided to do the unthinkable. In the end, he took a deal that as long as he stayed out of trouble for a year, all the charges would be dropped. All of this attention had made Max a well-known figure on the campus, and soon he was offered a position at one of the school papers, so he set about penning what he refers to as moderately racist essays. In one of these pieces, he puts forward the idea of catching East Asian people in large butterfly nets and forcing them into a house so that they can binge drink and redecorate the home. Again, this publication would get backlash, with a petition being set up to condemn the column. East Asian people held a protest outside of the paper's office, and Max turned up to the protest taking photos with the protesters, and he got a segment on a local news station.
The article, written by student Max Karson, details his hate for Asians and poses that they be subjected to phases of absurd tasks. For example, Phase 1 suggested catching Asians with large butterfly nets and dragging them into apartments for further phases, which include forced binge drinking, useless games, and house redecorating, as some sort of cultural washing and indoctrination into white American culture.
This article became the most read in the school paper's history, but sadly the paper was shut down shortly afterwards. After leaving university, he washed up on the digital shore like a used condom and started to author a blog called Shame Lane, which has now been wiped from the internet, so we can only judge it by what other people were posting about it at the time. From these posts, we discover that Max was working at a coffee shop, but had to quit due to him looking at the female customers a little too much. We also find out that he got himself a girlfriend, but sadly this relationship didn't last too long, with the police being called to attend the breakup by the next door neighbours. It's unclear why the police were called, but later on we'll look at his relationships with females in its own chapter, which may possibly shed some light on this incident. In another blog post, he celebrates the amount of teenage girls that read his postings, with him stating, "The fact that teenage girls read this doesn't turn me on. However, it does make me happy. I like the idea that after a long, boring day of teachers narrowing their eyes at the slightest hint of your sexuality, boys not caring, thinking about how to turn you on, of your fathers cringing at the idea of you having you can come to Shame Lane and be in the company of people who accept and even encourage your sickest thoughts. It makes me feel like I'm breaking into a zoo and opening the tiger cage. So, teenage girl readers, welcome." Thank goodness that he let us know at the start that he wasn't turned on, because the rest of it sounds like someone that was very turned on. On the Twitter account for this blog, he kindly let us know that when he was a 13-year-old, he tried to get his cat to pleasure him. Moving swiftly on, in 2014, he posed nude for a photo at an actress's baby shower. The context for this was that he was at the house posing naked as he was working as a nude model at the time. This seems to have been his main income for a while, and he recounts that once while he was working as a nude model, he was lying on the floor naked in a classroom full of 14 to 18-year-olds when the female teacher walked over his head, giving him a glimpse up her skirt, to which he got visibly excited in the kind of swollen way that only a man can. In 2015, he went to see a therapist, but a week later the therapist called him to let him know that she could no longer see him due to comments that Max had made towards her. In 2017, he started a YouTube channel called MrGirl Gaming, where he reviewed games like Mortal Kombat, but this was short-lived as Max had a higher calling. He was created for something more important than game reviews. He was an intellectual, and culture war politics was rife on YouTube at the time, so this was perfect for him. He embarked on his mission to set the world straight and enlighten all of mankind by narrating his opinions over movie clips and filming himself naked, pleasuring himself. Yes, that's correct, this great intellectual made a solo adult movie. This lovely video was titled Mr. Girl's Day Off and was posted to Facebook and Instagram, although thankfully they are no longer on these platforms. It is, however, still on adult websites. Max justified this video by stating that everyone makes and consumes adult content and he was just being open about it. Mr. Girl was at this stage an unknown internet nobody, someone jiggling his junk to a non-existent audience. But this would all change, and the advanced intellectual self-gratifying degenerate was about to go mainstream. Max had been saying questionable statements on his channel for some time now. Things like claiming to have downloaded TikTok so that he could scrape the bottom of the legal barrel while pleasuring himself. On Valentine's Day 2020, he got the police called on him for a comment that he made on Reddit, saying that he had been crafting an eradication list over the last 13 years with 25,000 people's names on it. Given his comments at university, the users at Reddit contacted law enforcement who questioned Max. He stated to the police that this was all a joke that had been taken the wrong way, which the police seemed to believe, and asked him if he owned any guns, to which he confirmed he had just sold a gun a short time beforehand. But when the police checked, they couldn't find any record of this sale, leading them to think that he was lying to them.
You don't legitimately have any feelings to hurt anybody. You don't have any lists to do anything.
No. I have no ill will towards my professor from 13 years ago, or anyone on Reddit, or you, or anybody. No. Isn't there a record of it?
Do me a favor, turn around really quick.
Sure.
Because you're not being truthful now. So,
I'm not.
do you have any weapons on you?
No, of course not.
Okay, we're going to make sure you don't have any guns on you.
I don't have any guns on me.
Max was cuffed so that they could get to the bottom of what was going on, but later released, with the police agreeing to let him go and investigate the matter further, with it being dropped once they found no proof that he intended on actually going on a spree. On a subreddit called Unpopular Opinion, he claimed that being attracted to minors is a spectrum that everyone is on. These events and comments had flown under the radar, as he was an unknown internet personality, but this all changed in 2020 when he posted a video titled Cuties, an uncomfortably honest review. Cuties is a movie about 12-year-old girls dancing suggestively that sparked outrage when it was released, being condemned by conservative politicians and petitions being set up to remove it from Netflix. Amidst this flurry of anger and cancellation, one man chose to not follow the crowd, to put his head up with his chest out and stand for what he believed in. And what he believed in was that he gets turned on by 11-year-old girls dancing suggestively.
This film does try to make you sexually aroused by 11-year-olds. And I'll say it's not bad at it. It's not a total failure in that regard, at least for me. They're pretty hot. You're supposed to be sitting there holding these two thoughts in your head, and one that these are kids, and the other that they're hot. And I don't even know if you're supposed to be comfortable with that. It's more like you're just supposed to be informed that you are capable of that and that you feel that way. And I already knew that, but I think it's a good thing to put that out there.
In this review, he states that he was aroused by the young actresses. He enjoyed that the movie made the viewer complicit in the of minors, and he kept playing clips from the movies showing children dancing. He did also dress up the review as him mostly liking the artistic value and vision of Cuties, but people viewing the video were outraged, so it got mass dislikes and much backlash from other YouTubers.
Now, I'm sure by this point a lot of you have probably already heard about the MrGirl situation. It was something that I found out about, like most things, through Twitter, and I retweeted it because of statements that MrGirl made in his video where he is advocating for the movie Cuties in a positive fashion.
That's the message that people are walking away from the movie with the biggest smile on their face, pumping their fists in the air. Thanks, Netflix. Just for easily accessible softcore child. It's unbelievable. You can't defend this movie, and if you're defending this movie, you haven't seen it, and if you have seen it and are defending it, you might be a It's as simple as that.
The backlash videos got millions of views, pushing MrGirl into the limelight. So he decided that he was going to create another video about Cuties. And in this video, he was going to record himself beating his meat while watching the film. But luckily for everyone, this idea was abandoned as his editor refused to edit the video. A question I have been unable to answer is how he has afforded his internet career. At this stage, his platform was small, so it's unclear to me how he could hire an editor for his videos. His family seemed well off, but he's cut ties with them, so I'm guessing that he didn't get money from them. So it's all a bit of a mystery to me. If anyone knows the answer to this, let me know in the comments. Some people noticed that MrGirl got basic details about cuties wrong, leading them to believe that he wasn't watching the movie for the storyline. He was now the hot topic, a man that flirted with taboo ideas and unapologetically defended the indefensible. So naturally, he was invited onto Ethan Ralph's Kill stream to talk about his views on the movie. On this stream, he was informed that 5,000 children auditioned for cuties, meaning that 5,000 minors danced suggestively for people casting the movie. This fact seemed to change Max's mind a little bit, so he joined the crowd in calling for Netflix to remove the film on the basis that it was exploitative. But he did also double down on the fact that he thought it was a good film and that there was nothing wrong with being aroused by it. His Cuties review got so much pushback that YouTube removed it from the platform, and in late 2020 the MrGirl YouTube channel was banned, but later reinstated, so he did the only logical thing that you can do when you're on the radar of the ban police, and he released an Eminem style rap song titled I'm a which is literally about him being a predator, with the lyrics being so over the top and graphic that you can only view it as a joke. But was he joking? A lot of truth is said in jest, but also a lot of jokes are said in jest. Whatever the case may be, the internet liked the song, so he released another one in the same vein, with them getting millions of views. Given his open online views, he would start to get messages from minors, or at least people pretending to be minors, offering him questionable content. So he tweeted to let people know that he would be passing any illegal material to the police. He likes to think of himself as an intellectual, someone that is above the rest of us lowly humans who just can't understand his highbrow thinking and transcendental points. Being a super smart, intellectual, controversial, left-wing internet personality, he soon found himself talking to fellow super smart, intellectual, controversial, left-wing internet personality, Destiny. The pair were a match made in heaven, pushing the boundaries of what was acceptable on both the right and the left wing of politics. As they both grew closer, many of Destiny's fans started to follow MrGirl, growing his platform, but unfortunately his YouTube channel would get banned again twice. In both cases, it was reinstated with the help of his new fans speaking up for him. On their streams, they would talk about MrGirl's dark fantasies and how women burst into tears after intercourse, with him assuming that this happens to everyone, and it was just what normally happened after a man and a woman made love. His new friend Destiny is best known for having debates, so MrGirl started to use Destiny's Debate Coliseum as his own personal playground, having debates on Steven's stream with Destiny being the moderator. One of these debates was on the ethics of punching women, with MrGirl claiming that he lightly punched his ex-girlfriend in the face, due to them going to meet his father, who he didn't like, and him stating that meeting his father made him 10 times more violent towards his ex-girlfriend. He doesn't explain exactly what this means.
When your ex-girlfriend, who I believe you punched, correct? Like, what was that for? Like, why go to that length of violence?
Why did I punch her in the face?
Yeah.
I lightly punched her in the face, okay? It wasn't like
Does
a
that
big
mean
punch.
like this, or does that mean like this? Like, are you slapping?
A punch is a closed fist. No, I closed fist punched her in the... I probably punched her like this. It was like... It was probably did not even cause any pain, but it was like definitely punching somebody in the face. And
Do you think I'm being insane in this conversation?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, you haven't earned me hitting you. You got main character syndrome. I'm gonna hit you.
When you say, okay, so let's explain this better.
I would hit you.
When you say you feel like she's being insane in this conversation, what part of her thought process do you feel is unreasonable?
Do you know how jealous Shaylin would get if I hit you?
Oh, Jesus.
She would
Honestly,
kill me. She would kill me if I hit another woman.
I'm good. I can't trust you. I wouldn't be able to negotiate a BDSM scene with you because I don't know that you'd actually follow the rules.
Oh, he's not talking about BDSM.
I'm not talking about BDSM.
Then I'm out. I don't do domestic violence. I'm sorry.
That's
not my thing.
Okay.
Shaylin would be more jealous if I hit another woman than if I f*** another woman.
I recommend therapy.
Okay, wait, he's already in therapy. Okay, hold on, wait. Let's move off this tangent, okay?
Mr. Girl was now a firm fixture on Destiny's streams, with his mix of outrageous opinions delivered in a corpse-like, emotionless way being intriguing to many viewers, but he would sometimes let the facade slip and show a glimmer of being a human being.
It's all bad.
No,
if any
because
part,
when they
well,
talk
this is,
about it's
no,
all
you just
bad,
asked
you're
me.
precise.
Hey,
No,
hey,
you're wrong.
hey,
You're wrong.
hey.
You're wrong.
That's fine if I'm wrong.
You're wrong. Okay.
Steven,
When they talk
Steven,
about sexual
is me being
relationships,
wrong? Is
they're
me being
very
wrong?
clear.
Steven, is me being wrong a reason for her to interrupt me?
So if you want to catch a whole bunch
Does
of
that make
things,
sense? Wait,
and
does
there's
that
only
make
a
sense?
small area where it's
For a
ethical,
debate,
you would explain
does
what
it
that
make
is.
sense to interrupt the other person because they're wrong? Is that a
That's
rule
what
in
happens
debates?
in debates.
Alas, in 2022, the cracks in this relationship started to show, with Mr. Girl going to war with Destiny's subreddit. Something that would take over his life and leave him unable to sleep properly for weeks. This wasn't helped when Mr. Girl's account got banned again due to a mass flagging event by Nick Fuentes' fans. Mr. Girl had come into contact with Nick's fans as Destiny hosted him on his stream a few times, so he blamed Steven for getting his account banned. Plus, Destiny didn't moderate the conflict on his subreddit to Mr. Girl's liking, so this was the end of their beautiful relationship. The pair started to smear each other to their fans, claiming that the other was abusive and controlling to females. Mr. Girl then started to contact Destiny's ex-girlfriends, trying to dig up dirt on him, and released a 100,000-word report on Destiny cataloguing all of the streamer's misdeeds with women. He spent a lot of time on this report, and watching his streams from this time, it's clear that this took its toll on his mental health, with him seeming fatigued and fragile, but he was sure that this report would be the end of Destiny's career.
I think I may have destroyed his platform. I think I might have already destroyed his platform. I don't think it's collapsed yet. My view is that Destiny is going to implode. I think my report may play a small or large part in that. It probably won't play no part in that. I think it's inevitably going to happen.
Sadly for Max, no one really cared about his report, as allegations from someone who has created a graphic song proudly proclaiming to be a predator are a little hard to take seriously. Plus, it is claimed that someone else that worked on this report was allegedly a woman beater, so his imagined moment of victory was quickly forgotten and he started to blame cyberbullying for his failure.
Well, how?
If cyberbullying wasn't real, there would be dozens of people retweeting and co-signing the report right now. There would be an outpouring of support. The only reason there isn't is because of retaliation. The retaliation Destiny uses to silence people, including people he has had sex with, is cyberbullying. That's the source of all of his power. Of course it's real. Destiny would have no career if it weren't for cyberbullying.
I don't want to deal with all your anger at previous men you've known, although you are definitely going to have to deal with all my anger at previous women I've known, but you don't have to deal with it like right away.
So we're going to take a break from the timeline for a moment and focus on some particular aspects of Mr. Girl that I think illuminate his character a little better. Firstly, let's look at his relationships with women. As you can no doubt guess, Max has an odd history with the opposite sex. He openly admits to being abusive to his girlfriends, things like smashing up their laptops, hitting them, and telling them to cover up their bruises when the police turn up so that he doesn't get in trouble. On the 9th of November 2020, the police were called to an incident involving threats and harassment by someone called Max Karson, which I'm guessing is him, but I can't be 100% sure. Max is very open about the things that he has done to women in the past.
I don't think guilt is that useful. I hit you. It hurt you. Oops. I grabbed her wrist. She screamed for me to stop. And then, after that first time, a few weeks later, I grabbed her arms because she wasn't listening to me or something. And I grabbed them really hard, and afterwards she showed me bruises on her arms. A little bit after that, I just said, okay, that was so loud that the neighbors are gonna call the cops. And before they get here, I need you to put on a long sleeve shirt so they don't see the bruises on your arms, because if they do, I'm gonna spend the night in jail, 100%. And one thing people don't talk about a lot is that a violent outburst like that can be a unifying event for a couple. One time I broke my ex's laptop, and you get to sort of join forces against the you that just snapped. And you're like, whoa, that was crazy. Wow, I really went insane there. Wow, we're on a team against that evil part of me. And then you get to apologize, and apologizing is fun. And I'll never forget my ex looking at me and calmly saying to me, "Why are you punching me in the face?" It was a good question. I'll add, for the sake of honesty, I did punch her in the face. So in my case, hitting women over the next several years from that point on, when I first came out as an abusive piece of woman batterer to my family, I told my father, listen, every time we come visit you, we end up getting into some physical altercation at your house after you go to sleep. When we go back to our room, we're basically fist fighting.
He does have a long-term girlfriend named Shaylin, who he met when he became frustrated with his lack of success on dating apps. He would match with women just fine and charm them into liking him, but he doesn't really like intercourse, so when the big moment came, the women would be left watching, passive, as he attended to himself, which understandably the women were not very happy about. So these relationships were short-lived. He was working as a nude model at the time, so started to message people on Facebook linked with art to drum up work, with one of these people being Shaylin, who was an artist. Max thought that she looked like Lady Gaga, and the pair started to message each other, then started dating. These two have a very unusual dynamic that they seem to enjoy sharing with the world. They post strange arguments and confrontations, with her normally being the one on the receiving end.
Your question is going to be stupid.
How do you know? I haven't said it.
Because you don't have a f***ing question about this. Just express your f***ing feelings. Why don't you err on the side of caution? Why don't you think, well, since I'm probably feeling emotional about this, I'll f***ing talk about that first, like we just f***ing agreed.
Fine, I can talk about that first.
I understand that you have some other argument you want to make that has nothing to do with that. That's not why I'm screaming at you, you asshole. That's not why I'm calling you a mean. That's not why I'm saying you're being passive-aggressive like you always are. I'm saying that because you're being passive-aggressive like you always are. There's nothing you can say about your boots that's gonna make me not feel that.
Right, I'm just trying to explain my point of view, but I can see that
I
it's
don't
not
care.
Yes.
I'm not once again, I'm not angry about your point of view. What I'm angry about is that you don't fucking care about my feelings and that you are mean. And when I call you out on it, you're like, yeah, you're right. I'm a stupid, worthless fucking moron. You're absolutely right, sweetie. Which is also patronizing and fucking annoying. Is that honestly what's in your fucking head? An endless parade of stammering, yeah. No. Whatever you're about to blame on me for your passive aggressiveness and your constant conflict avoidance, your constant desire to just be like, I'm not sure. No. You're a coward.
You're not helping, you're just making it worse.
That's not true. I think that the problem is for both of us, but definitely also for you. As in this conversation, you put yourself in a role. It's not that I'm making fun of care for having and offering to take care of PTSD, which very response you need to be taking stress. It's that because you talk about your feelings, you don't know what you're feeling and when you need to talk about your feelings. Well, fuck you.
It's inconvenient for me to ask you for help to pair them.
No, it's not inconvenient for me. It's inconvenient for you because you're arrogant. Okay. Are you aware that I'm very angry at you, generally? And are you aware that it's your arrogance and refusal to admit when you're struggling bad at something, ask a question, or you don't know something that is, at least from my point of view, creating or partially creating a rift between us? Okay, new rule. If you don't want to talk to me, shut up.
I don't want to talk to you.
Then stop talking to me. Shaylin.
What?
Got it working?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, okay.
Stop.
Filming?
Yes.
Really?
There are a lot of these kinds of clips, but I'm sure you get the point. I get the sense that Max doesn't really like her very much, and I struggle to understand why they are together, but I guess he enjoys mentally tormenting her. Max blames her for him getting worse in the bedroom.
Since I've met you, I've gotten progressively worse in bed, I think month by month. I think at first I was still putting in some effort. And then I've really just, I've turned into that teenage boy I never got to be.
Mm-hmm.
He states that he feels bad when she has a fun time in the bedroom, and this has resulted in the pair never really sleeping together. The strangeness of this relationship isn't just one way, with Shaylin seemingly enjoying being talked down to by Max and is fully on board with everything that MrGirl says on the internet, with her even making art about it. Their bond is a public autopsy that is more enjoyable the more grotesque it becomes. In mid-2022, Max got himself a life-size love doll. At first, Shaylin wasn't happy about this, but over time she grew to like it as it was nice to have another person in the house, meaning that they could be more sociable. These are her words. Over time, she became attached to the doll and it would become one of her best friends, so she started to control how Max took care of it. The fake woman was too heavy for Max to move by himself, so an odd power struggle ensued on where the doll should be kept.
We're just putting her in the closet. It's not complicated.
It is.
It's not.
It is to me.
I want you to. It's my movie. I need you to take her top half.
No, I don't want to.
Well, I don't consent to this. Then she stays here.
Don't power struggle with me for.
You're power struggling with me. Yes, my movie is more important than whatever the f is happening today. This is gonna last for years.
Oh my god. That's so unbelievably stupid. You do not actually care about this.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I do care about my work. I care about my videos. I care about my work. I care about how they're going to edit. I care about how they're going to fit together. You want me to be carrying her feet in that shot and then cut to a shot of you carrying her feet over here? It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to switch around. It's not a power struggle. You're the one who's trying to make a power grab. Just shut the up. Stop. Just help me with this.
The doll ended up living in a cupboard, which is where all best friends should be stored. He then released a very jarring video titled My Real Doll, in which he sits naked, peeling an orange with his teeth like a feral primate, and talking to his partner, who reveals that he jumped into bed and stated that she was his real life doll. She understandably wasn't very happy being compared to a silicone sperm bank, but her main issue with being compared to this doll is that the doll can't say no to MrGirl's advances. The situation is made more surreal when Max begins a lengthy discussion on how she needs to get him off.
You have to get me off.
Yeah, and that's fine, but...
No, you have to.
I know.
Okay.
Max likes it when Shaylin just lies there not moving, so he starts to think that maybe he would just be better off with the doll.
I prefer it when you just lie there. And I think what I've discovered through this doll thing, I thought this was great. Because I know you get upset when I tell you to just lie there.
Sort of. Yes and no.
No. You get upset when I say just lie face down and don't move. You get upset.
Sort of. Yes and no.
What do you mean yes and no?
I mean, it's upsetting on the one hand. On the other hand,
I'm talking about the hand that it's upsetting on.
Okay.
Okay.
Go
Without
ahead.
you trying to control what I'm saying.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Can you not say go ahead? Can you just shut up and just let me talk? Even that is just annoying. Since you get upset when I tell you to just lie there and not move, and a doll's gonna do that anyway, it would be interesting to see what it's like for me to just the doll, because the doll always does what I want it to do. And because I don't like it when you move when we're having I don't like it, the part that's for me. Like if I'm like, I just want what I want to you, I'm not picturing you being like, oh yeah, me. I just want you to not move, and I want you to lie there face down and be quiet and be still.
This video was very odd from the start, but Shailene seemed to be happy in her own weird way. But as the video goes on, it becomes clear that this may not be the playful, light-hearted video about replacing your girlfriend with a doll that we may have first thought.
You can be vulnerable in a way that is not making me into the bad guy. But if you start throwing me under the bus, and you start making me out to be the abusive psycho, I am going to get very defensive. Can we agree to that?
I don't know. I mean, the problem is that you are making me out to be an abusive psycho. I was not calling you out for anything. I was asking you for clarification.
When things get more explicit,
it is abusive of you to do that.
No, it's not abusive for me to call you abusive, you f***ing monster. I'm asking you. The way you you make people think I'm abusive without saying the word abusive or by doing anything explicit. It's a very subtle throwing under the bus, but it's happening, and I know it's happening.
I can't listen to you. I need to take a break.
Okay, do you want to play Smash?
No, I just want to be alone.
Okay.
I don't think I can do this.
Okay.
I don't know, but I don't know if I can do it another day or if I just can't do it.
And him laughing at his girlfriend's tears is where the video ends. Bear in mind that Max uploaded all of these videos, so they are obviously things that he thinks are good in some way, and not a digital abattoir where the viewer is weak and powerless to the gore of being Max Karson.
And your girlfriend's first name is Shaylo, right?
Shaylin.
Shaylin, yeah, Shaylin.
Yeah, Shaylin.
Why are you with her? She seemed to be so out to lunch. Why are you with her?
Out to lunch like crazy?
Yeah.
You think she's crazier than me?
No. If she was sitting there, I would ask her why she with you.
Well, see, there you go. If you have to ask us both, then
Right.
maybe we're a good match.
And how did two crazy people come together? How did that happen?
I feel bad about myself for being attracted to younger women, but I'm not attracted to their brains. I'm attracted to the fact that they haven't had a chance to ruin their bodies yet. You know, I just want a 35-year-old brain in a 15-year-old body.
One of the other ways to get an insight into the mind of MrGirl is by watching the many interviews and podcasts that he has done. A common theme in a lot of his online chit-chats is him trying to justify being a predator or trying to play down the seriousness of this topic. The normalisation of this seems to take up a lot of his time and mental space, but he is very evasive when asked directly if he is actually a child admirer.
Are you a pedophile?
Well, what do you mean?
Do you fantasize about 10-year-old girls?
I'm not going to answer questions about my sexual fantasies.
Are you a pedophile?
Yeah, right. So I guess part of what I was trying to get at with the, are you interviewing me briefly?
Have you ever looked at child?
Your interview, I need you guys to figure out.
I need you to answer the question honestly or leave.
In spite of not being a, I found cuties kind of hot. It's the contradiction there.
Yeah, I can understand what you mean, that maybe like you were uncomfortable. Yeah, well I know, but you were uncomfortable with the fact that you as a not found the movie of 11-year-old girls hot. I just feel like that's still kind of coming across a little like.
He does sometimes admit to condoning this though.
We can't condone, yeah.
I do condone pedophilia.
Oh.
One of the more combative interviews that he has done was on the Drunken Peasants podcast, with one of the hosts taking a real disliking to Max, which is understandable. After being directly asked if he likes children a little too much, MrGirl threatens multiple times to leave, but then just hangs around, never answering the question.
I'm fine. If you want me to leave, I can leave.
I don't want you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Come, go.
I don't want
stay,
you to leave.
Go. Lay down. Sit up. Whatever.
Just
get that stupid blank look off your face first.
Yeah.
I need the three of you to figure out what you're doing.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You can log off right now. Nobody gives you. Nobody gives you. Do you understand?
Okay.
We can carry this without you.
All right, you got 2 minutes to pull this.
No, sign off now.
Honestly, let me make myself.
Sign off now.
Joe, let me make myself clear. Let me make myself clear. I'm fine if you want to have an argument. If you want to have a discussion about what you calling me, whatever, I'm fine with it being combative. My problem is that, one, you're being combative, but somehow pretending that you're not being combative, so that I can't actually push back against anything you're saying. Two, your co-hosts are pretending as though there is not a fight happening, and asking me questions as though you're not here.
This is how I make friends. For real.
Okay, that's fine. I need
you
some
to
sort of
empathize with me.
consistency. I need some sort of consistency in how
This is what
genuine
this
we're
is.
going to be.
This is what this is. Have you ever looked at child?
I don't think I have.
I don't think he's gonna indulge that.
Billy hasn't.
Jimmy,
I know I haven't. Personally speaking,
Jimmy is having a fit in the editing room right now.
Poor Jimmy.
I wish we could talk, because you are literally the definition of the exact thing
you
that
like
I'm
to
talking
mock.
about.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And I've
you
embodied
would be
it
a
completely.
perfect.
I actually know you better than
have-
you know you. I know exactly what you dislike, and I know why you dislike it. I own you. Do you understand? You're mine now. You're
I
kind
did
of like
not-
a child,
I did
and I'm
not
a pederast. That's kind of what's happening.
I
to
did
you.
not
Except it's your
understand
mind
that
that
you
I'm. Do you understand?
See, Joe, what you're doing right
This
now.
is why you've threatened to leave 3 times. It hasn't worked. I've called your bluff each time, and now you're lingering. You don't know what to do.
He did eventually leave.
Well, thank you for the time.
It was a great interview.
that we had.
Yeah. Thanks for visiting.
Yeah, I appreciate.
And we'll see you later.
Appreciate you talking with us. I wish we could
We're
have got a
going to
little
talk
further.
amongst ourselves.
You
You
got
got
a
to
conversation.
go.
Apologize.
You got
for-
places to be.
shut
Child
down
that
quickly.
not watch or watch. What do you? We got to do one or the other.
Joe,
it's all right. You can tell us later. Don't worry about it.
You're
This isn't
terrible.
the forum. This
You're
isn't the
terrible
forum.
at grooming.
What?
You're terrible at grooming.
I'd make a rubbish groomer.
Oh, he left.
Whoops.
He left.
Poor guy.
You could have.
I really liked him too.
You could have groomed
I
this
don't-
conversation in your favor.
That no selling.
You went all
I
in.
could have. I
you
don't
went
care.
all in with no.
Listen.
With no lubricant.
Listen. This is what he lives for. I gave him what he needed. I gave his audience what they needed. You're welcome.
In another interview, he made a woman cry, which I'm sure he was very pleased about.
If you
Do
want,
you not want me to know how you're feeling?
I do.
Have I not left the door open and wide enough for you? You want to knock the whole f***ing wall down? To make room for how mad you are? Or sad?
It hurts a lot.
What part?
Like the feeling like I don't know how to like touch you or something. I just felt like the sense of like the things that I was trying wasn't working, and then I felt like it was painful. And I have some like fear of you like judging me for being weak for crying right now. But I'm not making a request of you, I'm just letting you know.
I think it's fair.
Max has a habit of claiming that everyone else is crazy and acting like he is the voice of sanity while defending the most outlandish ideas. It's their fault that they can't see the profound wisdom that he is trying to impart on them. This wisdom mostly revolves around being a predator and why it's a good thing. Another very confrontational interview was when he appeared on the hip-hop podcast No Jumper and took a disliking to one of the hosts. Max had told a story on this podcast about a time that he forced himself upon a woman, with the host not liking this but not being very upfront with his disapproval. So MrGirl went on the attack, claiming that he was being passive-aggressive, then demanding to know if he thinks that Max should be arrested for forcing himself upon the woman.
Flacco, every time you talk, I want to stick a screwdriver in my ear.
Why?
Because I can't stand you. That I don't want to have a casual conversation with you.
Yeah, so
I don't want to chat about how tipsy somebody is before it's. I don't want to talk about that with you.
So what?
So all I want to talk about is how annoying you are.
And then all I want to talk about
is
how you the female and then admitted that you were and then bragged about it in this coy weird video, right? Trying to like brag about it and like toe that line.
Okay. Do you think I should go to jail?
Too, right? And then also
do you think I should go to jail?
If you believe that was what you said, I think you should.
Okay, so based on what, just yes or no, you spineless do you think I should be arrested?
I just told you.
Yes or no, do you think I should be arrested?
She never even had a complaint.
Okay,
right?
so do you think it's okay
and that's
for
my
rapists
point,
to,
right?
Do you think it's okay for rapists to go free?
I just told you, you should be in jail based on you saying that you that girl.
Then why don't you call the cops?
If you told me you the girl,
yes, that's what I just said. Don't
last night,
repeat everything I say. Just answer the question.
And I believe
you. I raped a girl at knife point, and I raped a girl at knife point last night in a parking lot. Yeah. Would you call the cops? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So it doesn't actually matter if I think it's or if she thinks it's.
That's a stupid argument, bro.
No,
that's the most. Bro, yes, listen, bro. That's an idiotic ass argument, my nigga. Okay. That's stupid as. Back to your story. You stated that that girl last night was.
I can't stand you.
Those
you
words
can't
came out.
answer a question.
No,
you cannot
listen,
answer a hypothetical question.
No.
You're a liar. You're so full of
liar. How am I a liar? No. Right. Listen.
No.
Why?
Listen. Answer your question.
Why?
It's one of those things
why?
Pretending
Why
to ask a
I don't address those bullshit hypothetical, right? Because those are your attempts to muddy up the water. I'm talking about your story to where you admit and say, yes, I that girl. Cool. I believe that you should be in jail if that story is credible and true. I don't find 12-year-old girls hot. That somehow makes me, a quote-unquote snowflake.
No, it's that you won't shut the up. It's that you just are blabbing meaninglessly. I don't know how to explain this to you. It's not your views that are bothering me. It's not your views about my work. It's the way that you're incapable of having a conversation about it.
I didn't babble at all. I asked you about the question, and then you asked me for my opinion. I gave you my opinion.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. I don't want to.
And you never liked it.
Yes, I don't like anything that you're saying.
And vice versa, my brother. Vice versa.
Okay.
Okay.
Sadly, there are many clips of his interviews that I can't really show in this video due to the graphic nature of them, but he talks about some very degenerate stuff, including incest, him sneaking into a girl's room once to steal her nude photos, domestic abuse, and of course how much he likes children. Needless to say that given the topics that MrGirl insists on talking about and his brash nature, the interviews get cut short a lot.
You're right, I wasn't allowed to be a Jew as a child and it hurt me so much, and now I see I'm being forced to being a Jew, and I embrace my Judaism, and my culture is so important to me, and I believe in God now. I believe in a magical fairy. Wait, I'm not grasping it, mother. I have a firm grip on this thing with both hands.
If you're going to insult me, I'm going to have to leave.
You're insulting me by telling me I'm grasping. I'm not grasping.
No, you just called me a name. You just insulted me by calling me a name. So if you want me to leave, you cannot apologize. You can insult me by calling me an insulting name. I can hear your non-apology and say goodbye.
It's a term of endearment.
It's a term of abuse, and you're trying to tell me that when you call me a mother, I should be happy, is an invitation to further abuse. If you want to apologize, I'll stick around for the apology.
I can't do that.
Goodbye.
Vaush is a controversial figure in his own right, having made questionable remarks about children himself, and for him being someone that likes horses a little too much. So you would imagine that MrGirl and Vaush would be best buddies, but even Vaush has his limits. And Max found these limits on one of their chats. This friendly talk quickly turned into a debate, with Max stating that he would be a time-travelling saint. These are his words. He would go back in time and convince people out of doing horrible things in the past, using words instead of war to create a history of peace and harmony. The discussion then quickly moves to MrGirl's true passion in life, the age of consent, and the morals of being a child admirer, with Vaush surprisingly being the voice of reason in this debate, and trying to tame Max's outlandish thought experiments on this topic. Thought experiments such as putting cameras in the locker rooms of underage girls. MrGirl spends a very long time trying to get Vaush to basically agree that the age of consent is too high in America, until he pushes Vaush to his breaking point.
Is this consideration in line with your desire to empathize with girls, or is it something more personal than that?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you sound like not a person who wants to promote empathy for socially misaligned people.
Why do I sound like a
Because you're dedicating a considerable amount of thought to the subject of what type of underage girl people would be most interested in.
What color, if you had to guess what color their underwear would be, Flash, what would you say?
Yeah, okay. You see that? You people ask for debates, and what do we get? This is on you. What could we have had? Metroid Prime stream. What did we end up having? Whatever the that was. Alright, if you all get any Discord DMs from a MrGirl, I strongly suggest you screen those.
You know things are bad when the horse enthusiast is the voice of true virtue and reason. MrGirl had been making a career from being outrageous and creepy, a modern goblin scuttling across the digital tundra, snatching clicks and forging them into clout. But the good times were always destined to come crashing down around him. So back to the timeline, having failed to bring down Destiny, he had lost his grand crusade and made an enemy of the one person that was keeping him relevant. MrGirl had gained his own audience, but advocating for the rights of child admirers is a niche that not many people feel passionate about, so he would mostly become an internet freak show being wheeled out to podcasts in the hope that he would say or do something outrageous. In late 2022, he would invite the chair of NARSOL onto his channel for an interview. What is NARSOL, you may be asking? Well, it stands for the National Association for Rational Offence Laws, and the chair of this organisation had previously been arrested in a police sting soliciting minors.
Okay, in 2003, you were arrested for solicitation of a minor, of a hypothetical minor.
Solicitation of a law enforcement officer pretending to be a minor. Yeah.
Okay, so a sting operation.
That's right.
Involving officers pretending to be 3 different 13-year-old boys.
No, the one was, I think, a 14-year-old girl. But yeah, ostensibly those are the facts of the case.
In 2023, the MrGirl YouTube channel was banned again for going against child protection terms of service, and this time the ban was permanent. He was then deplatformed from Twitter, and as you may have guessed, this would be again for trying to blur the lines around the age of consent. He was then removed from Patreon. I'm not too sure why he was expelled from this platform, but I'm sure that we can all make an educated guess. He had now been banished to the Shadow Realm, relegated to the nowhere places of the internet, but being a super duper advanced intellectual, he could still share his ideas on Substack. His ideas were still unsurprisingly horrific. In April 2024, our story takes a strange turn when he sets up a TikTok account called Observer Physics, in the hopes that he could transform himself into an intellectual focused on physics. He only posted 2 videos on this account, but becoming a well-known voice in the world of physics was now his ambition. There was one problem with this plan though: he didn't really know anything about physics. He wrote articles about black holes, admitting that he doesn't really know what he's talking about, and claimed that if he said something about physics that sounded dumb, it's actually the fault of experts, as it's them that are stupid.
If I say something about physics that sounds dumb, it's because you and every physicist who've ever lived are stupid.
Max was now a mad scientist who didn't have time to cut his hair or shave or shower, as he was busy solving the mysteries of the universe. And once he became the greatest genius that ever lived, all of the people that mocked him over the years would be shown to be the small-minded fools that Max always knew they were.
I just had an amazing insight today. I have an amazing insight several times a day, and I tell Shaylin, I'm like, Shaylin, listen to me. And it stops whatever she's doing. She's like, oh God, what? And I'm like, I think that this is what's going to happen. This is when the universe is going to end. She's like, okay. And then I'm like, actually, wait, I don't know. And then she's like, I took a shower today. So that was good. But the math is coming. Ooh. Should be scared. Don't say too many bad things about me in public. This is a message to everybody, not just about black holes, but just in general. Let's do this right. This is a public service announcement. If you're watching this video, you have been forewarned. Do not say bad things about me in public. If you do, you will be f***ing embarrassed very, very, very soon. Max, why do you think the physics stuff in particular bothers people? Because they're scared. Oh yeah, they're scared. Because I'm deaf. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
MrGirl was now on the cutting edge of scientific discovery, a renegade thinking outside of the box and shaking up the stuffy world of physics. Or at least that's how he saw himself. In reality, he would arrange live streams with academics, but then argue with them in messages ahead of the stream, so these talks mostly fell apart before they started. Of course, Max didn't just forget about his true passion in life, and somehow in his jumbled up mind he would cross child admiring with understanding how the universe works.
I'm really close to figuring out how the universe works. So I can't
I can't stay very long. I can respond to a few chats here and there, but I'm really close to figuring out how the universe works. I've got multiple meetings set up with different physicists to talk to this week, some of whom I'm paying, some of whom are, oh yeah, we'll chat for free. I'll just chat. Once you start chatting with me, you're going to wish you charged me. Consultations. We've got mass email campaigns going on. We are reaching out to everyone, everywhere. Anyone who will help me develop the theory, a mathematical proof of how the universe began and will end, and black holes are the key. We have to understand the black holes, just like that guy and that kid, seemingly for no reason. That's the event horizon. Your inability to empathize with somebody who is a child is the event horizon, and we will go beyond the event horizon. We will see what is inside the singularity of the of a small child, aka a black hole, aka the beginning and end of the universe, and we're going to understand it all. We're going to have mathematical proof, and then like a big ass fucking video. I'm going to write an academic article. I'm going to get published. It's going to be cool.
His diversion into being a pervert physicist was relatively short-lived, being punctuated by him reportedly being barred from the subreddit r/physics. For him claiming to make discoveries in the field of physics that were untrue. Having failed to change our fundamental understanding of reality, Max took on the equally important task of releasing a music EP titled The Black Face, on which he raps alongside a black version of himself using AI. This EP has 4 tracks that are titled Shake Your P Flaps, Some of My Best Friends Are Black, It's Hard to Be Black, and One of the Good Ones. He then claimed to have spent $20,000 making a documentary about his old principal, Mr. Myers. Again, I question where he gets his money for this, as streaming to a few thousand people on Rumble isn't going to finance this sort of project. MrGirl then had a rare win when allegations came out about his rival Destiny's misconduct with women. Max felt very proud that he had brought this to the world's attention long before, but sadly he was saying I told you so to an empty room. In February 2025 he wrote an article titled How to Leave the Destiny Cult, in which he gloats about all of the new allegations against his once friend and compares Destiny's fans to a cult. In a creepy move, Max then claimed to have dossiers on some of his fans, which is a little weird.
And so you reveal quite a lot about yourselves. I have dossiers on all of you.
On his Substack, he of course writes many articles trying to normalise being a predator, with the last thing of note in his story coming from mid-2025 when he interviewed an actual predator on his Substack. MrGirl is a strange character who parades his pathologies as some kind of digital performance art. While researching this video, I found no evidence that he is actually a child predator in the real world, although it wouldn't come as a great surprise if something like this comes out in the future. He talks about this topic a lot, and I could have made a 5-hour long video just showing him discussing this. So the question becomes, why does he talk about this so much? Maybe it was because his Cuties review was the thing that first launched him into the limelight, so he was typecast from that point forward. Or maybe he genuinely believes that having empathy towards these types of people is a good thing, but my honest opinion is that he's trying to normalise the topic and hide behind intellectual language to soften the blow. I've seen claims that this is all just a troll or a joke of some kind, or that it's just ideas and thought experiments. Clever people playing intellectual games, but I think people just need to ask themselves, would they let Max babysit their kids? Or would they be super surprised if naughty things turned out to be on his hard drive? This story reminds me a lot of a video that I did a while back on Amos Yee, a free speech activist who was just asking questions and pushing boundaries, but in the end he turned out to just be a predator who was convicted of this crime. Max seems to live in the abstract, hypothetical world of an intellectual, so it's hard to know if he has ever put his theories into practice, but let's hope not. I also get the sense that Max enjoys to mentally torment people. This could be his girlfriend or the viewers of his videos, and I think a lot of his online antics are him getting enjoyment from how uncomfortable he makes the viewer. Another aspect of his motivations is that I think that he does want to be open and honest about himself, with with the world in order to share some kind of human connection with those watching. Sadly, this comes off as weird to most due to him having the personality of a fax machine and the misguided ideas of universalism. I think that he thinks that all people are the same, so all of the dark twisted thoughts that he has are just what everybody has but are too afraid to speak about. Now I'm guessing that it's true that everybody has dark taboo thoughts, but these would be different depending on the person, so some may be more predisposed to violence while others are more predisposed to vindictive cruelty and so on. My guess is that Max's particular brand of darkness is not very common due to how disgusting most people find him. On a side note, his rap songs are actually pretty good, if you can look past the topics and the person making them. To me at least, the MrGirl persona is a slow motion car crash filmed in 4K by the driver himself, complete with running commentary about how everyone else is a bad driver. Unable to take responsibility and seemingly enjoying humiliation, Max Karson will no doubt continue down this path for a long time to come. But let's hope that I'm wrong and he does sort himself out, and that one day he lets us know how the universe began and will end.
I think that's kind of my little role I've carved out for myself in my life. That I think that's part of my humanization project of telling other people the dark, scary, or vulnerable things that I'm thinking so that they might feel more human themselves.
Amazing. Do you think you would be a hypocrite if you didn't do that?
At this point, now that I've said I'm doing it, yeah, I think it would be pretty hypocritical for me to hide that those uglier parts of myself.
And why is that? What good does it do anyone to hear all your little demons in your head?
So that they know that they're not alone with the demons in theirs.
And how would that help them?
I think a lot of people feel disgusted with themselves.
They do.
Yeah, and I think knowing that they're more human than they thought helps them, even if they become revolted by me in the process.
Watch this video about Amos Yee, MrGirl's long-lost spirit animal. Check out the playlist for more videos like this one. Like, subscribe, hype, comment, become a member, sign your soul over to me or any of the other things that YouTubers are meant to ask. A big thanks to the channel members and the Patreons, and bye-bye.
I am an alpha male.